Hello, thank you for joining us for our annual meeting. We'll be getting started in just a couple minutes, but for now, feel free to say hi in the chat and let us know how many years you've been an owner for. Hello, thank you to everyone who's just joining us. We'll be getting started in just a couple of minutes, but in the meantime, please say hi in the chat if you'd like and let us know how many years you've been an owner for. Okay, thank you to everyone for joining us for our Eastside Food Co-op 2021 annual meeting. My name is Amy and I am Eastside's Community Engagement Coordinator. And the meeting is about to start, but first I have a couple of quick notes. Please use the Q&A function or the chat throughout the meeting to submit any questions you may have for the Board of Directors or the General Manager. We will try to get to as many of your questions as we can during the Q&A portion later on in the meeting. And with that, I'm going to welcome Eastside Food Co-op's Board President, Sue Yeager, who will officially call the 2021 annual meeting to order.
Thank you, Amy. Good evening, Eastside Food Co-op owners, employees, business partners, and community members. I now officially call the annual meeting of Eastside Food Co-op to order. Welcome, everyone. I am so excited to talk to you tonight about all the good we have done at Eastside in the past years, both in the store and on the board. It certainly has been a year. None of us ever thought we would be in year 2 of this pandemic, and it's still turning our lives upside down. I am so grateful for all of the support you have given to Eastside and to our staff during this difficult time. We pivoted store operations multiple times over the past year to keep our staff and shoppers safe and healthy. And you were there with us every step of the way. I am so proud of the store's efforts to follow the best medical guidance available and use science-driven information and facts to make business decisions for operations. It just makes sense to work this way. I want to thank you for supporting your community-owned store and for helping fuel our growth in ownership. We continue to see people making the decision to become owners of Eastside, and I believe we are closing in on 10,000 owners right now, which is pretty incredible. That's quite a jump from the 135 owners we had the first time I was the board president back in 1996. We've come a long way in 25 years. Your continued investments help fund store operations and prove that owning your grocery store makes sense and provides benefits to the community. So walk around like you own the place, because you do. Throughout the turmoil of the past year, the fantastic Eastside staff have adapted and maneuvered through the daily challenges of the pandemic with grace, kindness, and empathy. I can only imagine how hard it's been for them. I simply and humbly say thank you to all of our staff from the bottom of my heart. Your hard work and dedication to Eastside is evident in all you do every day. You gave reassurance to shoppers and made their experience at the store positive. You provided the healthy products we all need that nurtured our minds, our bodies, and our souls. We just ended our fiscal year on June 30th, and we've done pretty well this year. Through the benefits of the Payroll Protection Program, or PPP loan forgiveness, the store performed well financially this year. As a result, the board is happy to announce that we just approved providing employee profit sharing for the first time in Eastside's history. Woohoo! The board is so excited about this, that staff can enjoy the profits of their labor. It's a great time for Eastside. I would also like to call out our general manager, John Lacaria, for the extraordinary leadership he's provided to staff and store operations over the past year. He's led us through some tough times, providing information and transparency and support to staff and community when we had COVID cases at the store. He addressed concerns of shoppers professionally and with empathy. He managed through a lot of management turnover successfully this year. The board is grateful for John's hard work and continued dedication to Eastside. John provides valuable support to the board, and we look forward to a long and fruitful and continued relationship with him. Thank you, John, for all you do for Eastside and for the staff. This year, the board has continued its focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion with an outside consultant who's also working with the store staff on DEI work. In addition to self-reflection and studies on intercultural awareness that we took up last year, we're turning our learning into action by taking a critical look at our board policies and rewriting them where necessary. Michelle Spangler, our Board Governance Committee Chair, has headed up the review and updating of our board policies this year through a DEI lens. By focusing on board culture, we're moving towards our goal of having a board that is more reflective of the owners and community that it serves. We are about to pass the first round of policy updates and will continue on this path with executive monitoring policy updates through a DEI lens over the next year. And we're pretty excited about continuing this work and seeing the changes that we can make. With new board members elected each year, ongoing board education is vital. Brenda Burmeister, Board Development Committee Chair, has been instrumental in supporting our learning by ensuring we had education topics at every board meeting that are vital to our board service. We will begin our learning cycle anew when we welcome new board members for our board training on October 25th. At our first board meeting of the new year in November, we'll elect board officers and choose committee chairs. The committees do the work of the board, so these are very important positions. A critical part of the board's duty is to plan the long-term strategic direction of the store. Following our expansion in 2016, the board has been considering the next big thing. Board member Seth Cool-Stennis, Strategic Planning Committee Chair and also Eastside employee, has helped the board learn about a particular area of interest this year, solar installations. We toured some solar installations at the U of M, had a project manager from a local church talk about his experience with solar installation planning for their church, and we've also spoken with several solar consultants and contractors to learn about solar. We look forward to sharing our learnings with you as we discuss what's next for the co-op in the coming years. The board is committed to providing a transparent strategic planning process that ensures owner alignment and agreement. Be sure to be on the lookout for upcoming work on this topic in the Carrot and co-op emails. I would like to take this time to announce the results of the board election that just concluded last night. Congratulations to 3 new board members who will be joining us in November. Smita Dolan, Sadie Pashke, and Jolene Baker. Congratulations to all 3 of you. We very much look forward to working with you. You've been elected to a 3-year term on the board, and we welcome you to the board and look forward to working with you. Amanda Degner has been appointed to a 1-year term to fill an upcoming board vacancy. So thank you, Amanda, for agreeing to take that term. We hope to see you at the community event tomorrow, where you can give your opinion of the various big things the store could undertake in the next 5 years. I'll turn it over to John Lucaria, who will give us an update on store operations and financials now. And I will talk to you in a couple minutes again. Take it away, John.
Well, hi, everyone. Thank you, Sue. And it's so nice to get to share what I'm about to with you this evening. As Sue mentioned, my name is John Lucaria. I've been the general manager at Eastside since 2016. And I'm sure I'd recognize almost all of you if I was able to see your faces in this virtual format. Here's to hoping we are back in person for our annual meeting next year. With that said, I do want to, as Sue just said, take this opportunity to personally invite each of you to our owner and community event that we are holding in the parking lot tomorrow night. It starts at 5 p.m. It's going to go until 8. There's going to be music with a special appearance from an Eastside staff member. We're going to have food. We're going to have beer from our friends at Fair State. And we're going to give everybody an opportunity to connect with their friends and neighbors. I do so sincerely hope that I'll see you there. Tonight, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about Eastside's fiscal year 2021 performance. This is going to cover the period from July 1st of 2020 through June 30th of 2021. And I probably don't need to let anyone know this, but this was the first time in Eastside's 18 years of existence that it had the opportunity to operate during a pandemic for the entirety of a fiscal year. It's been one of the most challenging and rewarding years of my professional life. And I certainly couldn't have done it without the supportive board of directors, a dedicated, experienced, and caring management team, and a staff of just really beautiful human beings who bring light to my day, and I think to many of yours too. While we've typically placed our focus on moving the business forward and accomplishing goals, fiscal year 2020 is what I'm currently referring to as the reactionary year. Our focus was on the health and safety of our customers and employees, and making sure that we were making the necessary adjustments to our business to meet those needs. Through this process, I certainly learned a lot. And one of the things I learned is that it's pretty tough to make everyone happy all the time. However, we've done our best to stay informed, to accurately interpret guidance, and to make decisions that allow the store to remain safe while remaining a place where everyone feels welcome. And I'll take just a moment here to thank my wife, Sarah, who works at a community health clinic and is a public health expert. She's really helped me over this last year to interpret the ever-changing conditions we faced. And she's also continued to be a great mom to our two boys, Sam and John Lee, who are 5 and 9. In a year like this, it seems a little bit weird to focus on financials, but owners have entrusted the financial well-being of the co-op to the board of directors, and they have in turn placed a lot of faith in me. We'll go ahead and dive into the financials now so we can save our celebration of the staff and community we serve to the end of my remarks. Sales for fiscal year 22-21 were the highest they have ever been at just north of $17.75 million. In addition, the co-op was able to book an impressive net income of 4.2%, or just over $740,000. I'll share more information about how we achieved this in just a second. However, as a result of this net income, retained earnings were $540,000. This is great financial news for our business. We'll talk about a few slides as we continue this discussion. This first slide that I'm showing on the screen right now is our debt to equity. You'll notice that due to our results this year, that the debt to equity has fallen to 2.39 to 1. This is the most stable financial position the co-op has seen since the year before the expansion of the store, when we were able to achieve a 1-to-1 debt to equity ratio. As we have now moved to a much less risky financial position, we have the ability to really consider the future of the business and the investments we would like to make in it, so that we can bring our business that is here for good to more people. Even more good news is that our cash reserves are now at just under $2.25 million. These reserves will allow us to navigate this period of uncertainty and plan for our future. We sure do hope you will stop by the board tent at the event tomorrow to share your vision of the future of the co-op with us. And we'll move to the next slide, please. Our net income of $740,000 was predominantly, as Sue mentioned, a result of the co-op's ability to utilize a payroll protection loan from the Small Business Administration. That loan was administered through Self-Help Credit Union, who's the credit union that provided the co-op the loan it needed to expand its business in 2015 and 2016. As you can see on this slide, the co-op was eligible for a loan of $709,000, and this full loan amount and the accrued interest we were accounting for was fully forgiven in June. The PPP loan was really critical for allowing us to stay calm during the early days of the pandemic and ensure our employees had both the personal protective equipment that they need and also the wages and hours that we've always been able to guarantee to them. It also helped us provide employees with premium pay of $2 an hour, which we made permanent when we negotiated our second collective bargaining agreement with the employees union early this spring. If we move to the next slide. And so with all this net income, you're probably curious about if the co-op will be declaring a patronage rebate. As you can see on this slide, 74% of sales were from owners this past fiscal year. This represents a little more than $13 million in sales. If we go to the next slide, please. you can see that we provided owners over $187,000 in owner discounts. These owner discounts are that 5% monthly discount all owners are encouraged to take at the register. And then on the next slide, you'll see that the net income from owner patronage before we factor in the PPP loan was slightly negative. As a result, there was no net income for the board to consider distributing back to the owners. We remain hopeful that the store financial performance will result in the board being able to declare a patronage rebate in the near future. We just didn't quite make it this year. You can also see on this slide that we did make a little bit of money off of sales to non-owners with a net income of just over $70,000. The final slide I want to share with you shows the personnel expenses as a percentage of sales. Personnel expenses have always been the co-op's biggest expense behind the cost of our products and the expense over which we have the most control. Like many businesses, our personnel expenses are on the rise, and they're currently at a level consistent with the period prior to expansion as we geared up for significant growth. Unfortunately, we can't anticipate a similar level of growth now, so rising personnel expenses might present specific challenges in the near future. I'll stop sharing slides now. And as I say this, I'm really cognizant of the fact that I don't want to equivocate personnel with challenges. Instead, we continue to approach personnel as our greatest opportunity and asset. And on this note, I want to thank the staff of Eastside for their resiliency in the face of challenges, for their bravery during what was for many of us one of the most scary periods of our lives, and for their calmness and commitment to nurturing our community both with food and companionship. The employees of Eastside remain the heartbeat of our business, and I feel so honored to get to lead this amazing group of people. They really deserve all the credit for the store's success this past year, and they are why, as I previously mentioned, we were happy to meet them at the collective bargaining table to negotiate our second collective bargaining agreement. With all the staff receiving at least a $2 an hour permanent raise through this agreement, we have made meaningful progress in our attempts to provide jobs to employees that allow them to thrive. Please take a moment to show your appreciation to these essential employees the next time you visit the store. As we turn our attention to the future, I see great things in store for your co-op. I'm excited to support the board as they contemplate the next big thing that we should do. I've had a lot of fun learning with the board about possible solar installations this year, and we're really anxious to hear about what you think about a possible solar installation, as well as other growth opportunities for our business when we meet tomorrow. In the near term, we're focused on reviving some of the initiatives we needed to put on hold due to the pandemic. We recently completed a staff satisfaction survey, and employees have provided management with some areas that are ripe for improvement, while also expressing their overall satisfaction with their work. It was so exciting to see that close to 90% of Eastside employees strongly agree with the statement. I see a clear link between my work and Eastside's ends policy, and that a similar percentage agreed or strongly agreed with the statement. I would recommend Eastside Food Co-op as a good place to work. Eastside is here for good, and we're so happy to continue to be an integral part of the Northeast Minneapolis and surrounding communities. And with that, I'm happy to pass the presentation back to Sue, and I really look forward to answering any questions that folks might have in the upcoming Q&A session. Thank you, and it's once again, it's so nice to be here with you tonight.
All right. Thank you, John, for those kind words and for your updates. I certainly do appreciate it. I wanted to take a little bit more time to give some thanks to our current board members. All board members deserve our appreciation for the time that they devote to the governance of Eastside. It's not easy being on the board, but it sure is rewarding. Board service is a great way to take the next step in your support, in the support of the co-op. If you're thinking about doing something additional for the co-op, board service is a great way to do that. You can directly impact and help shape the future of the store. Even though our annual election has just concluded, we're always looking for ways to include owners in our board work. We encourage owners to get involved in board work by being on one of our committees. It's a great way to get a view into what we do and how you might help in the future. I want to thank the Eastside board members for your dedication and hard work this past year. It's not been easy meeting remotely for most of the year. We just started meeting in person again in April after over a year of being off-site and virtual via Zoom. So we're happy to see each other face to face again. Jennifer Anderson has been our Finance Committee Chair and Board Treasurer. Jennifer will be ending her board term this year. I want to thank you for all your work in educating the board on financial aspects so we can do our fiduciary duty to the store. You have helped the board understand spreadsheets and financial statements and given us a good roadmap to keep up that training in the future. Thank you, Jennifer. Brenda Burmeister has been the board development chair. Brenda will also be leaving us this year. We appreciate all that Brenda has done and we wish you the best, Brenda. Thank you. Autumn Brennan has been our Owner Engagement Committee chair and also board secretary. Autumn is also leaving the board this year. Thank you, Autumn, for your board service, and we do wish you the best. Returning board members, Seth Cool-Stennis, Strategic Planning Committee Chair. Michelle Spangler has been the Board Governance Committee Chair. Desiree Olson has been on the board. Therese Hennis has also been on the board. And Amanda Degner has been our board vice president. As I mentioned earlier, the board has appointed Amanda to serve one more year to fill an outgoing board member's spot. So thank you for agreeing to take that appointment, Amanda. I want to welcome the new board members who are just elected. Congratulations to all, and I'll see you at tomorrow's community event at the store. I'm going to turn it back to Amy now. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. I want to give everyone a chance to submit any questions that you may have for John or for our board of directors. So please, if you have any questions that you would like to ask, now is your chance to submit them in the chat or Q&A. So we'll just take a moment to see if anyone has questions.
Yeah, and while we're waiting for some questions to roll in, this is John again. I'll just invite all the board members to turn on their video. And for any of you on this Zoom call, if you want to put your screen in gallery mode, you'll be able to see all the board of directors. I did see a question just roll in about how many owners are there at the store right now, and we are just over 10,000 owners now. I didn't pull the exact number before this meeting, but I know that we have surpassed that 10,000 owner threshold. So a really exciting time for the co-op. Really good at sitting in uncomfortable silence. So you can ask all the employees at Eastside Food Co-op about that. Seth, it's nice to see your son. Well, I do want to give people a couple more minutes if they have any questions for us. We really wanted, we know that this has been such a challenging year, so we wanted to make sure that we gave people an opportunity to ask any questions that they might have. And I wish that I was in person with you, because I usually have some of my best conversations with owners at these events. So we'll plug it a few more times probably before we finish this call tonight, but we're anxious to see people tomorrow at our in-person events here at the store. We may not have any questions. I kept my remarks fairly brief. The one other thing I'll share with owners is that it continues to be a really challenging time to operate a grocery store. The supply chain issues that you've been reading about in the newspaper and other publications are real, and I'm sure that you've noticed it in your shopping trips to the store. We've had some challenges sourcing some of the products that we normally carry on the shelf, and the majority of those issues are manufacturer issues. They either don't have the amount of employees to make the product, or they don't have truck drivers that can move the product from their production facilities to the warehouses where we get goods. Our grocery team has done a really great job with that said, and they're really focused on bringing in new products, especially local products, and we hope that you're enjoying some of the new products that we've added to our shelves this past year. The supply chain issues might get worse before they get better, so it could be a couple tough months with finding some of the products that you've come to know and love. With that said, we continue to maintain really close partnerships with our local producers, and probably our biggest advantage that we have over some of these large chains is that we do purchase products directly from so many local producers. It's the best way for us to be resilient during these difficult times. It does mean that some of the large national brands that we're familiar with, we're struggling to get some of their items. So. Well, as I'm not seeing any additional questions, would you revise partnering with other co-ops? So a question just came if we'd revise partnering with other co-ops. I may need a little bit more context of the question. I'm not sure that I understand it.
Maybe she means revisit. Revisit?
Yeah, I would say that we do some partnering with other co-ops, and it's a big part of that is through our involvement with the national organization that we're a part of, National Cooperative Grocers. We as a collective whole, the co-ops that are members of National Co-op Grocers are constantly sharing best practices and supporting each other as we navigate this time. NCG has been integral in us being able to navigate this past year. As far as consolidating, a possible consolidation with another co-op or anything like that, it's not something that we're discussing right now. We feel really good about the financial position that the store's in. We feel like we've been able to achieve the amount of growth that we needed post expansion to support the additional debt load that we were taking on, and we really see a lot of opportunities for us to continue to be successful and grow as an independent co-op. It's something that I'm sure will come up on the board again, possibly in the future, but it's not something that we're talking about right now. I don't know if you want to add any more context to that, Sue, but that would be my answer to that question.
I would answer the same way, John, and say that our owners voted back in 2016 not to consolidate with the Wedge in Linden Hills, so we're not going to pursue that avenue anymore. That's all I will say on that topic.
Well, Before we wrap up, I do want to take a minute. I want to recognize Amy Gilbert. She's on the screen right now. She's a relatively new employee at Eastside, and she's handling all of our community engagements. We're going to have her to thank for all the wonderful things that we're going to experience at the store tomorrow night. And she is supporting the board in her role too. So she's really integral in the board being able to get their work done in an efficient and effective manner. I also want to recognize, I'll see if I can't get Tucker to turn on his screen for just a minute. Tucker is our new marketing manager. Hopefully everyone recently received their new issue of the Carrot. We've tried really hard to increase the amount of content that's in the Carrot, and we're hoping people are enjoying their extra poster that they received in the newsletter. Tucker told me that he has a goal of having something extra in future versions of the Carrot. So we're really happy to have him join our team. I would be remiss if I didn't also at least mention Julie Engel, who's our human resources manager, and Ann Gazzola, who's our operations manager, as well as the rest of the management team who oversee the close to 115 employees that we have at the co-op now. It's really humbling to get to work with such an amazing group of people. We have a special thing going here at the co-op, and I'm so glad to be able to be a part of it. So I should mention Seth too. I'm sure Seth is pulling double duty for us with both being on the board and being an employee of the co-op. So thanks, Seth. Well, we were going to have Amy hop back on and say thank you to everyone one more time to being here at the meeting and for taking the time out of the night to show your support for your locally community-owned cooperative grocery store. And we will plug one more time our owner and community event that's going to be in the parking lot tomorrow night. It's going to run from 5 to 8. Again, there's going to be free food. It's free for anyone who wants to attend. We're going to have 2 bands there, one of which is going to feature one of our very own employees. And then there's going to be beer from our friends at Fair State. I don't know what else you could ask for. So I really hope that we'll see everyone there tomorrow night.
And don't forget to stop at the board tent. We'll be doing a survey asking owners about their opinions on some of the strategic things we've been thinking about. So the board is very excited to see everybody tomorrow too. Looking forward to seeing you there.
It looks like we just had a late question coming in about seedling results. And so we do have a list of the seedlings companies and the order in which people wanted us to donate to them. I don't have it in front of me right now. Amy, could you tell us the top 4 vote getters on the seedlings?
Yeah, just a moment, John.
Yeah. I was able to pull it up. It looks like the top 4 ones that people voted that got the most votes was Division of Indian Work, Twin Cities Food Justice, the Northeast Farmers Market, and Dream of Wild Health. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to support more of the organizations than those top four, but those were the four organizations that that owners identified as definitely wanting to support. Well, if Sue agrees, I think we are nearing the end of this annual meeting, and we'll call this official annual meeting of the owners of Eastside Food Co-op closed.
I'll second that. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everyone for being here.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Looks like we're still recording.